everybody, I'm Chrissy B and welcome to my show. Now we do have something very interesting, especially for those adults that can't swim today. But first of all, let me tell you what's we've got Excel with the news today, first of all. Hello, Excel.
Hello, Chrissy.
And you can't swim, can you?
I cannot swim to save my life.
Okay, so you'll be hearing from someone today because we'll be speaking to Angel Turner, a former Team GB athlete who's the founder of Turner Swim. And that's a company dedicated to teaching adults to swim. So it's never too late and there's no excuses, right?
Yeah, all right.
But she's very brave though, because as we said last week, she was jumping. What was that sport called that we were doing?
Coast-steering.
Coast-steering in Wales. And she was just jumping off the rocks and everything, and she can't swim. Imagine if you could. That's why we had to drag her around half the time. I'll also be playing you my place to visit where I tried out a flotation tank. We'll be inspired by a mixture of artists, and we'll also have Jane Wrafter's fitness tip on how to turn up your arms. And of course, I'll be answering a question from one of you guys at home. But let's get straight to the news, since we have so much to get through.
Yes, indeed. Well, I thought I'd start off with something lovely and, you know, fuzzy and lovely and warm piece of news. A trainee paramedic, this story is all the way from Australia. A trainee paramedic paid off a parking ticket for the daughter of one of his patients after he found it in the ambulance. His name is Mark and he works in Melbourne, and he decided to clear, it was $129, which is around £73. He discovered it after, he found it in the ambulance after discovering that the person who he had taken to hospital had passed away. Oh. So, so they had both ridden in the ambulance to the hospital, and so the daughter accidentally left behind the ticket because she had received it on the same day as when they went into hospital, so it kind of fell out of her bag. So he said, it was my instinct not to just let this go because someone would have ended up with late fees and I didn't want that to happen, he said. So he wrote them a letter, he paid it off, and then he sent them a note attached to it, and I think resent it to the address. And the note, he put it on a sticky note saying, "Dear Rose and family, I found this in the back of the ambulance after we dropped you and your mother at home from the Broadmeadows Hospital on Tuesday afternoon. I didn't want you to incur a late fee from this parking fine, so I'm posting it back to you. I also decided to pay this fine for you given the difficult time you and your family are going through." Oh, so I mean, it was really, I thought that was really, really lovely. I mean, he didn't have to do that, just well and above the call of duty. And it says he just decided to do it. And after receiving the note, of course, he said the lady, Mrs. Morgan, decided to thank him. He goes to university as well, decided to thank him. And he says, you know, it's really lovely that he's done that, and they wanted him to get some recognition for it. So he's now a little bit of a...
There's some people that do a job just for the money and just for the sake of getting by, and there's others that actually care about the people that they're in contact with. Absolutely. And it just makes such a difference when someone does care that much, doesn't it?
And I think it also sort of shows, because he didn't have to do that. I mean, he could have just asked after them, you know, how you doing, how you coping with your mother's loss, etc. But he's just literally gone about, he said, you know, one less thing for them to worry about, which is absolutely beautiful. So, yeah. And actually, an interesting quote as well, the woman said, she says, "We want him to get some recognition because every time you turn on the TV, somebody is ripping somebody off all the time. And this time it's the opposite." So he's now a bit of a mini celebrity in Australia.
That's good for him. I remember going to an event once, it was about cancer awareness. And there was some people that were going through cancer, and they were saying, you know, it's different when someone says to you, "Oh, if there's anything I can do for you, please let me know." And someone's saying, "Do you know what? I'm going to come round to your house. I'm going to take the kids to school. I'm going to do your ironing for you." Because it's like, it's so easy just to say, if there's anything I can do, because most of the time you're not going to pick up the phone and ask for help from someone. But it's a different thing when someone actually says they will do something and they've already made arrangements, because it's really hard to say no to that.
I mean, also,
and you don't want to burden people at the end of the day if you're not well.
Absolutely, but also you don't even necessarily think about all those other things that you're not doing. You're probably concentrating on getting better, concentrating on all these other things. You probably wouldn't even remember Johnny has to go to school, or you need to feed the pet guinea pig or whatever. You know, that's the last thing on your mind because you're just really bogged down by it.
So many things that you can do for other people. So when I was in Cyprus in hospital with my dad, it's like there were so many relatives that were just thinking of us all the time, bringing hot food for us, home-cooked food, and because we literally didn't leave the hospital. We slept there, we bathed there when we could find the shower and stuff, and we didn't leave, and like they were just bringing us things all the time. So we didn't have to worry, you know, about anything. And like there was someone sort of looking after the garden for my mum and everything. So it was wonderful the way.
Beautiful.
It's lovely.
It's nice to think about your neighbours, think practical terms. Yes, absolutely. So well done, Mr. Primrose. We may or may not have heard about this, Chrissy, but the global superstar couple, Brangelina, have finally tied the knot.
Really?
Oh yes, they have done it. They've managed to pull off the most secret ceremony that not even a lot of people know about this. They flew under the radar to the south of France and had their ceremony on Saturday. So they apparently they wept as they exchanged vows at a very modest quote ceremony. And it's not often that obviously you get...
What's very modest in their terms?
Well, considering the fact that they wedded on an estate that was worth £35 million, very modest, really. And apparently, I think it's because obviously, you know, I mean, I can think of a celebrity off the top of my head who actually had a pink dress and a stagecoach and whatnot not that long ago. And the other hilarious things that celebrities have done in the name of celebrating their wedding. But this one was actually quite modest in terms of, you know, it was just quite an intimate ceremony. They were actually both in tears as well when they said, "I do." You know, it was all very moving and all of that, but it was all very low key, even though there was still the, you know, the sort of limousines or the sort of, I suppose, it doesn't say about bands or anything like that, but I think they probably had quality, not necessarily quantity. Okay. And Jolie, who's 39, was walked up the aisle by her eldest sons, Maddox, who's 12, and Pax, who's 10, and daughters Zahara, 9, Vivian, 5, through petals. Shiloh, 8, and Vivian's twin, Knox, served as ring bearers, and it was held in a little chateau, a chapel in Chateau Miraval. I hope I said that right.
Sounds romantic.
No, it was all very, very touchy-feely, really. And however, it was straight back to work because, as you do, after they finished the ceremony, they flew back to Devon because Brad Pitt is currently in Devon to promote his new film. So yeah, but the thing about it though, I think that I would sort of that got people talking as well. You know, I like my social media input on these sort of things. People seem to say, well, Brad Pitt had said they weren't going to get married until same-sex marriage was legal in all of America, so he wasn't going to do it until then. So, however, now it's currently 19 states that have approved same-sex marriage. So everyone's wondering, what's going on? Is there something, you know? And of course, the usual conspiracies. Maybe he's gotten her pregnant. He wanted to make an honest woman out of her before she gave birth. Bit too late for that now. But yeah, it's quite interesting. I think there seems to be some talk as well about he might be competing with Jen, because Jen is now currently with Justin Theroux. Never know how to say his name. And apparently they wanted to make it there before Jen did.
Okay,
so
Jennifer Lopez.
No, as in Jennifer Aniston, his former wife.
Oh, sorry. I forgot about her. Sorry.
Jennifer Lopez. Jennifer Aniston.
Oh, come on, they're just rubbing it in.
So, you know, I mean, there are all sorts of theories always come up about celebrities, as you know. So, yeah. So it's definitely not because she's knocked up, but who knows. A very interesting piece of news I found, I have to say, that slightly shocking. A workman in China nearly plummeted to his death because a child cut the ropes on his harness.
Oh.
Do you want to know why the child cut the rope on his harness? Because the man was doing some noisy work outside his apartment building and it stopped him from watching his cartoon show.
God.
How dare you, workman?
Oh my gosh, that's awful.
He was drilling the side of the apartment building when, you know, putting up security lights to the outside of the building. And so this young child,
how old?
He is, how old is he?
Probably
10.
watches these cartoons where they do things
10.
like that and things always survive.
Well, exactly. So he felt, yeah, I'll just cut him down and he'll probably go flat and he'll peel off the pavement again. Yeah, no, it doesn't work like that in real life, young man. But yes, he cut the rope. He's a 10-year-old boy. He cut the rope because he said he was making too much noise. Literally, the man found out this happened because he was fitting the security lights on the outside of the building. And all of a sudden, he felt the safety rope was shaking. It's like, hold on, what's going on here? He looked up. This is not funny, I'm sorry. But he looked up and he saw the boy cutting the rope with a knife. Seriously, it's just wrong.
Sorry, it's not funny.
It really is not, but look, I don't know what I would do in that situation. It's just wrong. But he was left hanging on to a single rope for his dear life. And then afterwards, his colleagues had to spend 40 minutes to get him, to pull him back into safety. God. And then a spokesman from the local fire service says the boy acted on impulse because the drilling made him impossible to hear his cartoons.
Okay.
Really?
All right. That's very bad. Children, please don't do that to anyone that's cleaning your windows or doing any kind of maintenance work. It's very dangerous. But we have to go to a break now, Excel. Thank you very much. But I want you to stay with us because we have a lovely guest on after the break. We're going to be speaking to Andrew about his former career as an athlete and his current one as founder of company Turner Swim. So do join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. Before we go to our guest, let's take a quick look at Jane's fitness tip on how to turn up your arms.
Hi guys, hope you're well. Today I'm going to show you a nice short workout to tone up your arms and your shoulders. Okay, so you'd need a pair of weights for this. So these are only a 3 kilogram each, which is not too heavy. You could maybe go up to 4 if you're used to working with weights. If you're new to weights, maybe start with something like 2 or 2.5 kilograms, something like that. Don't go too light, otherwise it won't work. And this will actually work for men and women. So obviously men, you can just work with some higher weights depending on your strength. Okay, so if you do this workout just once a day, just a couple of minutes, you'll really see a difference in your arms and your shoulders. I'm going to give you a few technique points as well. So when you work with weights, you want to have some softness in your knees, which means they're not locked straight. Okay, so you soften the knees, you use your core strength to stabilize your midsection so that you're not putting pressure on your lower back. Okay, so you slightly tuck your tailbone under, belly in, knees soft, shoulders back and down. Okay, so we'll start with some bicep curls. So you simply lift the weights up and down. I'm just going to show you the most common cheat, all right, and it's a swing. It's a swing of the weights and a swing of the body, and that literally is doing nothing for my arms at all. Okay, so what I want to do is focus on the bicep, control it down, keep your elbows just slightly in front of your waist, because if you take them back, it's easy. So lock your elbows in front of your waist, all right? We'll just do a couple more here. Can you see them going nice and slow? The more control you have, the better. I'm going to go into a shoulder press. So we're going to lift up and lower. This is targeting the shoulders now. These muscles here, the deltoids. Make sure, guys, make sure that you don't arch the back as you press the weights up. If you're in any doubt about your back, do one arm at a time, okay? Because that will just protect your back that little bit. So we'll do another couple here. Shoulder press. I'm going to bring the arms down, give myself a little roll and a rest. I'm going to go into upright rows. Now these also work the shoulders, okay? So you take your weights, chest height, not your neck. So they only need to go to here, okay? Also, elbows just slightly higher than your weights, and the elbows come slightly back, so that I'm just initiating the upper back and the back of the shoulders a little bit. Let's do another couple of these. Lovely. And then I'm going to take you into an exercise that works the backs of the upper arm and the back of the shoulder. So I'm going to just lift the weights up and in without leaning forwards. And I'm really working here to try and stop my shoulders lifting up. So I'm just going to do a couple more. Get them nice and high, and it'll work into the back of the arm as well. So I'm going to run through these again with you. I'll do 4 of each. So we had a bicep curl, works the top of the arm at the front. Okay, I'm going to go into shoulder press, making sure I've got my nice core strength locked on to protect the back. 2 more here. And we're going to go into our upright row, which is for the shoulders. Open up the chest and draw your elbows up and back. I'm going to do 1 more, and then we're going to go into our tricep pushback here. And I'm going to do a couple more. Now you could run through this a few times, just do it every day, and you'll feel a difference and you'll see a difference in your arms. Okay guys, good luck with it, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you very much, Jane. So now I'm joined with Andrew Turner, who after his career as a GB athlete founded Turner Swim, which is a company that's helped many adults to learn to swim from scratch. Hello, Andrew.
Hi, nice to meet you.
You too. So it's great to have you here, especially for the benefit of the viewers, the adult viewers that can't swim. So I'm
Brilliant.
sure but let's go back a bit first of all, because obviously you were on the GB team,
Yep.
swimming team. So tell us about how you got into that. Was it something you always wanted to do?
So when I was younger, I wasn't a particularly good swimmer.
Oh, really?
But at the age of 10, I came across Cheltenham Water Polo Club, and we're lucky to have influential coaches, Martin Thomas and John Spicer, who were the best junior coaches in the country. And they took us from being average swimmers through to being national champions 3 years in a row.
Oh, wow.
And then on the back of that, we were able to get a number of us into the Great Britain junior team, and we went to the European Championships and the Worlds.
Oh, brilliant. What was that like?
Yeah, fantastic. Obviously, best time of your life when you're representing your country.
Yeah.
It's really good
But
fun.
there must have been something that they spotted in you, like for them to even bother training you in the first place, would you say? Or can they just take anyone and just make them into really good swimmers?
I think what they got so well done is that they really focused on core techniques, and I think that's an element that I've taken into the swimming teaching that I'm doing, is using as many techniques that are done correctly to help people then to learn to swim or to develop their swimming further.
Okay. Now, where did all that start? You obviously started your own swimming business. How did the idea come, and how did you get it all started and off the ground?
Sure, when I was 15, I taught some friends to swim when I launched a water polo team at my school. And from there, I kind of kept it on the back foot. So I always had aspirations to work in an investment bank. So after Manchester University, I then started working on a front office job at an investment bank. I then went to work in Canary Wharf, and then decided actually I want to get back to my real love, and that was to do swim teaching.
Okay.
So I spent another 15 months working for different swim schools in London to get some more experience.
Oh, okay.
And then put together the programs for Turner Swim.
So, and now you actually run the lessons from a hotel, was it?
That's right, yeah, it's a 5-star hotel at Piccadilly Circus, Le Meridian.
Okay. Now, for those people that are watching at home and they're saying, do you know what, I'm already like in my 30s, in my 40s or older, and there's no point learning now, and I probably won't be able to learn. What would you say to them?
Many people feel like that when they first come. Probably 50 to 60% of people that come to us are non-swimmers. I think everyone can learn to swim. The techniques we've put together really do enable people of all abilities, even if they've had bad experiences in the past or water phobia, to learn to swim. And one of the case studies really is Peter, who came to us in the first lesson. He was visibly shaking and very nervous and couldn't really speak to tell me how he felt about his swimming. But it became very obvious when he couldn't let go of the side for a couple of sessions that
It's like me
was...
with ice skating. I won't let go of the sides.
It really was. Yeah, he was really quite worried. But what's fantastic is he's just been determined and kept going and really kept thinking about his swimming, and we've been able to tailor-make the lessons. So Peter now swims 200 metres very regularly, has a rest, and then goes and swims again.
Excellent.
He's absolutely enjoyed that aspect, which hasn't only given him confidence in the pool, but also in other areas of life as well, which I think is really good.
Well, that's a question I wanted to ask you actually. Why should an adult learn to swim, apart from the obvious not to drown and stuff if they're in a situation, but why is it important?
Sure, I think to learn to swim from a safety point of view, if you are by the beach, by the sea, and your kids are in the sea, they're bound to want to play around. I think it's safer if you're playing with them and being there and able to get them out of any situations.
That's a brilliant reason in itself, isn't it?
Of course, and all too many times in the summer we have accidents at the sea.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Excel over here is a non-swimmer. Now, say if she was to come to one of your classes, how would you start her off?
Yeah, try and get to know her as quickly as we can and her styles of learning. And we would really get stuck involved with the breathing on the first session, making sure the head position is right in the water, that the eyes are looking directly down and the ears are just coming to the top of the water. And then once you're able to get rid of all the air in your lungs in the water, I think you're able to get a fresh breath in and feel a lot calmer. Okay. Once we can breathe, then you're able to be in control of your muscles. Okay.
Do you have any questions for Andrew?
I think one of the main things I find slightly scary is to stay afloat. I think that's because I think I'm all right if I have, like when we went diving, for example, I was fine because I had this life vest. I was literally just floating without any hassle, and I was showing off my butterfly strokes and everything, and everyone was like, "Huh? You can't swim?" So I think it's the whole nervousness of staying afloat. I just feel like I sink like lead every time.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. Floating is probably one of the misconceptions of swimming, really, is I can't float particularly well. And many people can't really float that well at all. We always come up towards the top of the surface and to the top of the surface if we have jumped into a pool, as long as we stay calm and relaxed. But the key is actually learning to swim and then being able to tread water and stay in a vertical position in deep water if you do decide to stop. So floating by itself, it's unlikely that you're going to get out the newspaper and start having a read. It would be very much survival and enjoying the fitness side of swimming as well.
Okay. And Andrew, just before you go, what would you say is the best time of year to learn to swim?
Yeah, interesting. I think it's actually the autumn as being the best time. We've had the summer where people have perhaps been outside and realised that it's quite nice to be in a pool environment. But then as the nights get a little bit longer, suddenly being able to do running and cycling and outdoor events like tennis just become less and less of an opportunity. And being in a warm swimming pool environment where it's often a little bit quieter certainly gives an ideal time to learn to swim and kick off those New Year's resolutions that haven't quite been done yet.
Okay, so Andrew, we need to go to a quick break, but you're going to stay with us for a little longer because we have a few more questions for you.
Brilliant, thank you.
And also after the break, we'll be taking a look at something that I did, which was visit a flotation tank, and let's see how I got on with that too. So do join us after this.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at a place to visit if you want to do something more relaxing. I'm here with Peter Bell from Floatworks, and he's the manager here, and we were having a bit of a conversation before because the first thing I said to him was, I'm only going to do this for about 20 minutes or half an hour, and you said to me, Peter,
what have you got to do afterwards? Are you going to somewhere else? You got another appointment? Because you really need an hour. You do need to have you expose your bodies to this environment and your senses to this environment, and it'll have an effect.
The normal way I normally relax is by going to a park somewhere and just sitting and looking at nature. So this is something completely different for me. Now, where did the idea of Floatworks come from in the first place?
So Floatworks, that's the name of the business, and floating is what we do, but the actual flotation therapy, that's something that originated for research done in the 50s in America. Psychologists suddenly just decided to think, what happens to the brain if we take away external input? Where flotation comes in, and particularly why it seems to be on trend now, and thousands of people come here every year. Every month, and And over a year, so obviously we're talking about tens and tens of thousands. And then worldwide, there's a trend of people using flotation tanks. So why is it important? Well, it seems to be the opposite of all this sensory overload. It's an underload. It's a place where you can go, where you're not going to be distracted by your phone or the internet. And after a while, because you're floating in this silky, warm Epsom salt solution, and when you're comfortable, you turn the light off, and then after a while, the music goes to silence. Then you're left in this kind of space that you've never really been with before, where it's just you, and it's just your thoughts, and nothing else will distract you.
I'm going to try my best, Peter, because I'm not used to doing nothing for a whole hour, I have to admit, because I'm a person that's sort of running around all over the place, and like you said, always forward thinking of what I'm going to do next. Even I speak very quickly as well, as the viewers know. So this will be a bit of a challenge for me.
Yeah. Well, I'm up for the challenge. I mean, what I say is that as it's your first time and you are quite a busy person, just take it easy. Don't expect too much. The more you expect of it, perhaps the less you'll be more in your mind space, so to speak, and perhaps the less you'll get. Who knows? You might be surprised.
All right, viewers, so I'm going to do nothing for a whole hour and I'll see how I am afterwards. Maybe I won't be able to do any more work today, I have to see.
We'll see.
We'll see. Okay, let's go. So just to give you an update about my flotation experience, it feels a bit weird at first because you're kind of trying to get used to the water because there's so much Epsom salt in here that your body just kind of pops up when you start floating, and then you just have to relax into it, and the music's really nice, and then there's a point where the music goes off and then you're just there with your own thoughts and everything, which was quite nice actually. I have to confess, while I was calling the camera lady to come in, I did check my emails. So on that respect, as a challenge, I failed miserably. But this is a nice way to relax. And the salt, actually, what I really like is that the salt makes your skin really nice and smooth. So that's a really nice thing. If you've got any injuries or any muscle pain, great for that. Okay, so we've got a bit of time to ask Andrew a couple more questions because I'd like to know more about the business itself, what it's like having your own business like that. Yeah, it's really enjoyable. Probably the hardest thing has actually been recruiting instructors to work for Turner Swim, in that there's a lot of old school methods out there, and actually swimming methods, a bit like tennis rackets, have really revolutionised and have improved. And been really lucky to find Amy and Rebecca, two great instructors. Amy's just got an outstanding for her qualification as a school teacher, and Rebecca's already a top swimmer that continues having great techniques to the team, so it's brilliant. Brilliant. So it's important to have a lovely team to work with as well, isn't it? Yeah, they're great fun instructors. Now, I know Excel had another question, didn't you, Excel?
Yeah, I was just looking at, for example, I can't, like we talked about this floating earlier, and I sort of have this obsessed with floating. This thing. You should go to the flotation tank. There's so much salt there. I think I should have come to the flotation device, yeah, to kind of get me started, or at least 10% there. But how long would you say it would take to go from no swim, can't swim, won't swim, to being able to, you know, be an Olympic champion?
Brilliant. Well, we do a 10 one-hour lesson program that's aimed at enabling non-swimmers to swim independently on their front and their backs, as well as to learn treading water, to be in deep water, sculling, floating, as well. So to get a grasp of swimming and be able to swim would be on average about 10 hours. But we have had some clients that have gone even further and have taken their initial front crawl efforts and have gone on to complete full triathlons, and that's a 1,500 metre swim. So yeah, Charles is one of those, and Charles is 59, so I definitely don't think it's ever too late to learn to swim. Excellent. Gosh, you see Excel?
Yes,
there's hope for you, my darling.
I'm not 59 yet, so yeah, there's hope for me, yeah.
You're not going to leave it that long, my darling. I think you should go for some lessons. All right, Andrew, thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us, and all the best with your business and everything you're doing.
Thank you.
Okie dokie, so before we have some more news from Excel, let's take a look at this creative success story.
I'm with Andrew Hubbard, who is a pianist and a violinist. So hello, Andrew.
Hi.
So how long have you been a musician for?
All my life. I decided when I was 15 and we were tucking into some nice Cypriot food, into some moussaka and tzatziki and salad, and I said to my parents, who wanted me to be a doctor or something like that, that I wanted to be a musician, a pianist actually at the time, but violin's taken over a bit now.
Who or what inspired you to want to be like this musician when you were a young boy?
Yes, well, we used to go to parties in London and weddings, Cypriot events, and I used to hear lots of music being played. What stopped me chucking it in and doing some kind of conversion to another career was, you know, you develop a real deep love of it. You know, if you're practicing it every day, music's more or less the only thing in your life that doesn't change.
So here with Daniel and Kira from Belle the Busker. Hello, guys.
How are you doing?
So you are, can I call you professional buskers?
You can, yes. We're just about professional buskers now, yeah. We do cover gigs for venues, and we've done like quite a lot of strange gigs as well, but we've got license for the underground and various other places like Windsor and places like that, so yeah.
I think at the start I was definitely nervous about it, but it's the best way to get the music out there, because you get, when we went around Europe and busked, it was like sort of a life dream, really.
What's the next goal for you guys?
I suppose in terms of our own music, it's to get the music out there, so we're going to record our album and release it, promote it, do anything we can really. In terms of what we do day to day, is just make it bigger and better, make it more often. We've got some musicians that we're working with now, so they want to go and travel, and it's mainly the premise of it is to have fun with it and then see where we can take it.
What you do to me, what you do to me.
So Sean, what got you into being a magician?
I used to watch the Paul Daniels specials on the television, the David Copperfield ones, ever since I was about 6 years old. And then I used to save up all my pocket money, buy magic tricks and magic books. I just used to practice and practice and practice until I got good at it. By the time I left school, I was able to do it for a living. What do you just say stop somewhere?
Stop.
Perfect. And look at the card of the camera.
Okay. Oh no. I can't believe it. When did you first pick up your first can or paintbrush?
I probably picked up my first spray can when I was about 13 or 14, about that sort of age. But I've always been into art my whole life. I've been getting taken to galleries and stuff like that from a young age, and always just been like growing up in London, especially like I've been influenced by sort of the surrounding environments, like graffiti on the trains, and as I say, going to galleries, just looking at stuff, music and stuff like that. So I've been into art for a long time. Yeah, always been painting and stuff like that. Music inspires me the most for my art, I guess. But in terms of like a real thing, probably, I don't know. I can't know if I can really answer that. In terms of a person, I look at a lot of like the old like Andy Warhol kind of stuff. I remember looking at that when I was really young and hearing about his story and stuff. And Basquiat, similar kind of person. So I guess yeah, something like that really.
All right, that's great. Thanks a lot, Danny.
Yes, thank you very much.
Great stuff, and it looked like Barbara had a lot of fun there. But now, just before we go to a break, Andrew has challenged Excel to go for a swimming lesson, right?
Absolutely.
So
come
Excel,
along.
do you take the challenge? And we have to film this.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yes, we will be filming Excel trying to learn how to swim, but I'm sure Andrew will be brilliant with her. So that's a little bit of challenge, Andrew, actually.
Oh, thanks.
All right, but I'm sure she'll do brilliantly. Okay, so it's time for a break, so do join us after this with some more news, and I'll also be answering a question from a viewer.
Don't forget to subscribe to the Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome back. Now, before we go back to Excel with some more news, let's answer this question from a viewer. This one's from Karen, and she says, "Hi Chrissy, my friend recently got engaged and I'm really happy for her, but I can't help but feel really jealous because I wish it was me. I was hurt in the past very badly and it feels like I will never be where she is, which is something that I long for. I love my friend, she's like a sister to me, but I can feel myself drawing away from her, which is hard because I'm one of her bridesmaids. What would you do, Chrissy? So Karen, first of all, in my opinion, the jealousy that you're feeling at the moment is simply stemming from the fact that you seem to have lost hope for yourself, because you said that you feel you'll never be where she is. But why not? Because if you start sort of talking like that and thinking that way, you probably won't get there. But if you start believing that you can be in her position one day, that you will meet someone and will be getting married, then that's what's going to happen. So just because you've had bad experiences in the past, it doesn't mean your future will be a disaster. So from what you've been through in the past, just learn from those experiences and see what you could maybe contributed to relationships breaking down and what you can change within yourself. And I'm sure the same thing will happen for you as well. So I would say, first of all, the first thing, start believing in a good future for yourself. And instead of looking at her and thinking, I wish it were me, think instead, I'm so happy for her, and one day it is going to be me, and I'm looking forward to my wedding as well. And maybe you can even say, look, the dress isn't great because I prefer my dress to be this way. So it's like you start making plans already. You start thinking more positively and thinking that it can happen for you, because it certainly can. I don't know if you have anything to add, Excel, to that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, because at any point, I suppose depends on how long you've lived. You will have had disappointments along the way. But if you see someone having what you want to have, like you said, it's for you to be happy for them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you don't. And I suppose it obviously shows that she kind of still believes in it somehow, because you won't be jealous of someone having something if you really don't believe it for yourself as well. So it's secretly there, but maybe it's just a case of because if she really didn't think she would ever be in her position, what is there to be jealous about? I think that's a thought as well, because maybe that jealousy is coming out because you secretly have something there.
It definitely can happen.
Absolutely.
And I think she should go to the love school as well, shouldn't she?
Absolutely. Oh gosh, I'm excited about that. 28th of September.
Okay, we're not allowed to give dates, thank you very much, but things like love school and other sort of things that you can invest and learn to be successful in your love life is a great thing to do as well. So I do hope that's helped you. Like we said, just start believing that it can happen for you, but also invest in yourself to be better as a person, so that when you do meet someone that you can hit it off really well, and you will get married, and maybe you'll invite us to the wedding too, right?
I'll buy a hat.
And if you guys at home have a question for me as well, you can email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv. Excel, more news.
Yes, my dear. I have something quite hilarious, I have to say. We all know the popular chain of fast foods. In fact, I think we were talking about them earlier. McDonald's in Stockholm has decided to come up with a creative way to keep the town clean. So during the warmer months in Stockholm, the place is obviously littered with all sorts of people drinking and all that, have litters everywhere. So in a bid to clean up the capital city, McDonald's got together with a communications company, and they decided to come up with a recycling scheme that's pretty clever. Black bin bags were put on a roll in the town centre, and written on it was, "We now accept cards, cash, and cans." How does it work? So you take one of the bags and you fill it up with empty cans and swap it for something on their menu.
Oh, right.
So for example, 10 cans equal a hamburger.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Just 10 cans?
10 cans. And 10 cans also equal a cheeseburger. And the Big Daddy, Big Mac, equals 40 cans. And of course, this caught on, and people have been pretty much keeping the city tidy as a result of it. And I think it's something we need to take advantage of.
Keeping the city tidy and then ruining their health, I'm sorry to say.
Well, greater evil and all that. But yes, it's worked. It's worked. And maybe some other company or somebody else might take up the challenge to do something like this and link it up as a sort of reward. But yeah, I'm going to give them maximum points.
That's a really good idea. That is a really good idea, but I just wish the food was healthier.
Swap it for a salad.
Yeah, you can swap it for a salad. How many cans for a salad? One?
What does it say? It just gave us hamburger, cheeseburger and Big Mac. Maybe they should, expand the menu, probably. Go on, McDee's, you can do this. Well, following on from that, we know about Kim Kardashian and how she's the queen of selfies. We've all learned how to take selfies now, of course, so it's a kind of caught on culture. But would you really be interested in reading a book about her and her selfies?
About her and her selfies? Yes. No.
The book is titled Selfish. No pun intended. And she's releasing a 352-page book of selfies.
Oh dear.
Apparently,
some people would buy that though, wouldn't they?
Oh gosh, yeah. I can see already. People are already kind of like, looking at it and saying when it's to be released. Indeed. It says you will see never before seen personal images from a celebrity who is widely regarded as a trailblazer of the selfie movement. Never before seen pictures? Have we seen any pictures? Do we have any pictures we haven't seen of Kim Kardashian? I think not, but I stand to be corrected. Because apparently her recent trip to Thailand, she admitted to taking 1,200 selfies.
You're joking.
I actually caught a few on.
We need to keep up, Excel.
I know.
We've only taken 2.
We've only taken 2 today. How boring, She literally was taking almost every frame. She took a picture of her legs tanning, took a picture of her bikini line, took a picture of herself in the hat, took a picture, and I'm just thinking to myself, really? But anyway, she now wants to combine all these photos into a 352-page book. And it will be a hardcover book, and it will retail for $19.99. And it's expected to hit the shelves in April of 2015.
Wow.
Get your copy?
No, I don't think so. Oh dear, we've got time for one more, I think.
Well, okay, we shall talk about the fact that, where is it? Beyonce, as we have recently found out with the whole issues that have been going on from time to time, etc., with saying about the marriages being rocky with Jay-Z, is reportedly now taking relationship advice from Gwyneth Paltrow, the woman who consciously uncoupled from her husband.
People need to take advice from Renato and Cristiane Cardoso, who are love school teachers and who'll be running the love school.
I agree.
Because they have made it.
Exactly.
And they have helped. You need to, when you need to get advice on love, you need to go to someone that's actually successful in love, because this couple, Excel, as well, because you went to the event last year, they went through quite serious problems in their relationship, but they've used those problems and obviously they learned how to solve them by themselves. Unfortunately, they didn't have anyone to sort of guide them and stuff. So they resolved all their problems. So now they are teaching other couples and even singles that want a successful relationship. They teach them all these tips, and they're really they're not sort of the average things that you would hear anywhere. They are really things that make you think that, oh my God, I didn't realise that, or I didn't think, I never thought of that.
Yep.
So don't go, if you are having trouble in love, don't go to people whose relationships are a disaster. You need to go to someone that actually knows what they're talking about, that's been through experiences, that's successful in love, and that's to do with any subject, right?
Anything, exactly. I want to be able to go to someone who knows who has something to give me. I would not be taking advice from somebody who has consciously uncoupled from her husband. And dare I say, apparently she's now even been seen with her husband more now. So they maybe have unconsciously uncoupled. Go figure. But it's just one of those things where apparently it just really doesn't kind of
Unless
match.
she's teaching them what not to do.
Well, apparently she's, her main words of advice have been to take things slowly and not rush into making any drastic decisions.
That's rocket science, that is.
Physician, heal thyself comes to mind, but I digress.
Oh,
but yes, but at least, I don't know, Beyonce's getting advice and she's trying to save her marriage. Just get it from the right source, I say.
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe we should invite her for love school.
I think we should.
Yep. Okay. We'll send her a tweet or something, shall we?
Indeed.
That's a good idea, actually. We should do
absolutely,
that.
Absolutely.
Because we're going to be there. Have you finished?
I thought you said we only had time for one more.
Oh, no, we're done. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, that's fine. We can go now.
Well, we can.
Thank you so much, Excel. And we'll see you again next week.
Certainly.
So it's been lovely being with you here today, and I love your hairstyle today.
Thank you.
Okay, so that is it folks, but just like to leave you with a little something. Now, as we saw Andrew, telling us before how it's never too late to learn to swim, but that also applies to other things in your life as well. Don't think that because you've reached a certain age that it's too late to find love, for example, it's too late to start a business, it's too late to do this, to get healthy. It's never ever too late. All you have to do is really believe in yourself and believe that you can do it, and then just go for it, because it does make life so much more interesting. So I do hope you've enjoyed the show, and if you want more information, do visit the website chrissybshow.tv, and don't forget to like our Facebook page as well, because we're going to be having lots of lovely competitions up very soon. The Facebook is The Chrissy B Show. Bye-bye for now. Well, as good as I used to. Hello, everybody. And oh, silly, you made me silly. Silly. Sorry.